Hello, class. We're going to do the windows in this drawing, and I guess the door too, perhaps. And really, these windows are almost identical to the windows we drew in the elevation that matches. There's a small but important change that we need to make to it. And I'll also showing the window through the section cut, which is this guy over here. So we can do the same thing like we did in elevation. If we take down from the second floor, if we take down a line, or I can even draw a partial line here from even one edge, because at this point I'm pretty getting confident I know where my windows are, because I can draw a line there and I can copy this line to the left side of each of these window openings. And what I'll do is I'll be setting up the left side of that window, and then I'm going to move these three guidelines. And be careful because they is the same color. It can be hard to tell, but that's my guideline for that window there and this one here. I was going to move these down to this area. So I've got the left-hand side of each of my windows. Now the windows are already drawn. If I pan out way over here, it's these three windows, and really it's going to be in reverse order. So I can do the short one or the tall one first. I'll start with the tall one. I'll copy it. It has different trim, but really this inside the green line over is going to be the same for starters. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to draw a window from left to right to get just that window. Hit enter and then copy from the left hand side. Since that's the one I'm drawing, I'm going to go and it's now reversed because it's on the other side of the window, so I'm going to draw it right over to this guy here. And now, just like in the elevation, the top says had to be on the outside and the bottom says had to be on the inside. The same is true. It's the same window. The top half has to be on the outside and the bottom half has to be on the inside. The difference is that now we are inside. So this inside sash should be the one that's forward to us, and the outside, the upper sash should be on the outside. So I have to switch the way this is all sort of trimmed around. And so really, I want to extend this line straight across here to here, and I want to fill it or trim that line to this line, and this line to that line. And now I've made the inside sash, or the bottom sash on the inside. So it always was. I'm just showing it appropriately here now. And I hit enter to remove that guideline. And the internal trim of this window is going to be a similar but slightly different than the outside. So it's going to be 4 inches as a base. So I'm going to go offset 4, enter, and do 3 sides of this only for now. We'll see, because we have the sill on the inside that we have to draw on the bottom. That's why I'm only doing these 3 sides at first. And I'm going to fill it. You can do F enter for a shortcut there on each side. And of course, just like in elevation, the trim wants to be this yellow color, which is step down in line weight. So I'll go match properties. I can do MA for my shortcut and do this that way. Now the sill thickness that we're going to show is going to be about 1 inch, so I'm going to offset 1, enter here, and it's actually going to stick out on each side of the trim 1 inch as well. So I'm going to offset on each side 1 inch and 1 inch, and I'm going to fill this together. So I'm going to use F for a shortcut. So now I'm talking shortcuts. You could still use your ribbon if that's what you want to do, but as we sort of advance in drawing, I can show less work and start to show other quicker techniques. So I just hit F enter to start that fillet, and I'll fillet this to here and this to here. Now this bottom line, and actually I'm going to pull this in. I could have drawn a new line. Maybe that would have been smarter of me at the time, but I didn't do it because I only want the green line to be here. So I want to match properties, MA, enter, to make that yellow line, and I need this piece of the sill to be a yellow line. So I'm going to draw a new line, and it's okay, I'm on cyan layer, but I'll just change it now by matching properties, or changing it in the layers dialog box, however you want to do it that way. And then I also have another 4 inches of trim below the sill, so I have to offset this, O, enter, 4, enter, 4 inches for that click and pull down. And it's going to align at the end of this trim here. So I'll draw a line down here and a line down here, and I'll fill it together. I did F for the shortcut. And I'm going to trim out in here. So I'm going to TR for the shortcut and hit enter twice to make everything a trim line in this case. And then match properties to get it all on yellow. And when I zoom out here, we are going to have that window completed. So pretty simple change. It's the same window here, so I'm going to copy it there. I'm going to select all. If we remember, what we align is the main window opening, which is the green line still. So I'm going to copy the green line to this green line here. And I'm going to, even though it'll have to be shrunk up, I think it's easier probably to start with this one than start with the shorter one. So I'll copy it all the way over to there as well. And I'll erase the guidelines. Now before I move on to this bathroom window, which has a higher sill, I'm just going to trim out because we have a wall here. So really, when we build this, we're going to have to trim up this trim a little bit against the wall. And I'm going to erase it. This is how the drawing is done. If I was actually designing this house, I would consider moving this wall a little bit so it's outside the trim. And I'm going to trim up all these elements inside the wall. But that's just the way that the drawing giving to us is drawn, so I'll keep it that way in this drawing. Draw that up there. And then to get the windowsill height, I could remember what it is, or I can just graphically do it by panning way over to this window, drawing a line from the bottom of the window all the way over, making sure it's straight, and that's going to be the bottom of my opening. So I'll do it the same way I did sort of in elevation. I'll start with a stretch and just do this lower part and stretch from the green line up. And then once I've done that, I can erase this guy and find the midpoint here and stretch. And I'm purposely giving less directions than what I did in the elevation. I'm just using the stretch command and doing a certain set of steps. If you can't figure it out and you need a little bit more help, you go back to the windows and elevation to the segment where I've reset the window size and follow the exact same steps because it's exactly the same. And you can get it done that way. So purposely make you work a little bit harder for it. So there is this window. If we recall, the window that's down here is above the kitchen, so it had the same sill height and same width and same head height as this. So we'll use this as a model to place our window down in here. In fact, it's aligned. If we recall, it's aligned purposely with the window above. So I know A, that it comes down here. I know B, that it has the same head height, which is 7 feet, so I can offset 7 feet, or I could have done it graphically from across my drawing. And this point is where that opening should lie, so I can copy this, go to copy, select that entirety of window, and copy it right to the cross point. There. Oops, I missed. That's okay. It's okay that I missed because I just missed my point. I'm a little bit far to the left. I'll just go to move. Again, we all make mistakes. I don't edit here, and I'm just going to move it right over to where they really do cross. There we go. And then erase these two lines. While I'm here, I'm just going to do the door really quickly. So I'm going to find the door placement by zooming up onto my plan and drawing a line straight down from the left-hand opening and drawing it straight down. And the door is pretty much identical to the door I drew in elevation. So I'm going to come right over here and copy and do a little left to right move there. Copy is CO, by the way, for a shortcut if you want to use copy that way. And move it to right there and erase. Enter for erase shortcut. And I can erase that line there, and I got the windows. Now the last bit of window I want to do is this window in here, and it is aligned. The sill and head are aligned with this because it's also in the kitchen, so we're also going to be pre-planning for cabinetry. So I can draw the head right across, and I can draw the sill right across from this sill, and I'm going to trim up this wall a bit to be an opening just like this, and I'll draw this window in here. So I know the inside edge of the window is going to be the bottom side, so I can come up there, and the thickness is going to be 2 inches, approximate. So I'm just going to offset to enter to do that, and I know the top of this is this line here, so I can draw a line straight across right here. And I can just fillet this together, F for fillet this time. And I know the top edge is going to be the inside to the inside of this, so it's going to come here. It's going to also be offset 2 inches to the inside. And it's also going to come down to this bottom line, which happens to be the same as all the thickness, which is 2. So I can either pull it down to, or I can just bring that line across and fill it and trim things together either way. Now, I'm going to erase this. And lastly, we'd see the sort of trim work on each side. So we actually see the edge of the sash in the distance sort of going up of the trim of that window that makes, and the same with this one, sort of coming down, straight down like this. But right now we have to work on layers. So the first thing, obviously, these things are just the trim and the framework behind that are set behind the sash. So those want to go to a light layer like on yellow. Now, arguably, we are cutting through these sashes, but for clarity's sake, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take all of these window elements and turn them a lighter shade of color. So I'll put them to green. And the reason I want to do that is because another great trick when deciding colors is to say, like, look at this is wall, and that's really the solid piece, and this is a window, it's glass, it's lighter, so I'm going to reduce line weight. And so even though I'm technically cutting through here, by lowering the line weight of this cut window, I will make this read as an opening as it sort of feels. And it's exactly like in plan why we do that. In plan we have the walls as being cyan and the windows as being lighter line weights to sort of, again, give that effect that, hey, this is an opening in a wall that you can physically see or look through in this case. So that's how you do that window. And with that, we've done the windows and doors. We'll move on to the last finishing touches, which is the porch elements and the ground plane that I'll talk about, and then sort of finish it up with notes.